Meeting. Time to start the meeting. Anybody that hasn't had the attendance sheet yet, we'll send it around again. Raise your hand if you haven't signed it. All right. If your name is on there, just write it in. They didn't have an official attendance sheet this morning. There's a few name tags back there that people might not have picked up. So if you see your name tag, grab that. Tim, I think there's one there for you. Did you get it? All right, Tim got it. Are there any new members here or visitors other than Caryl? Maybe we'll have him introduce himself a little bit, but our speaker today will be Caryl Closner, and he's from down near Rochester, Orinoco way.
Yep. So just out of town on a farm.
How long have you been at this?
I got my first initiation with a coping saw when I was about 7. Wow. Got the billy clocks when I was 11, and well, the rest is history, I guess.
That was your inspiration?
Yep.
Clocks. Yeah, that's a quite interesting place.
No kidding. I've been there a couple of times since.
Yeah.
Want to go again?
All right. Well, we'll let you say more when it's time for you to do your presentation. All right. Katie Warren and I attended a community center planning meeting on Monday, April 8th. And we gave them our input on what we thought we would need for a new meeting room. Whether we get any of it, you know, who knows, but I'm sure we'll have a pretty nice place when they finally do it. And they were gathering all ideas on how they wanted to do the new community center, what's going to be included, what kind of programs and what kind of facilities. There'll probably be a pool. Yeah. Almost certainly there's going to be a whole bunch of meeting rooms, and then we'll just see what happens from there. Well, yeah, we said, yeah, we should have a shop. And we thought our room should be next to the shop, which it kind of makes sense. And then if we ever had to go in there, we could maybe use the scroll saw in there. So we're kind of hoping for two of them kind of together, and that we'd have a nice sized room right next to a shop, and then, you know, bigger than this room, so we could have 40 or 50 people if it ever came to that. So they took it all down, and so they're working on it. There's another Creekside Leaders meeting next Monday, and Katie and Warren, will you guys be able to go?
Monday, this coming Monday?
This coming Monday at 9. You can do that?
I'll see.
All right. But this will be just a normal quarterly meeting.
After tomorrow.
Yeah, Monday. Yeah, it's coming right up.
Lots of time to think.
Lots of time. All right, Secretary Steve, do you have anything to add to your?
Nothing other than what's in the minutes.
Okay. The motion to accept the secretary's minutes. Second. Aye. All opposed? All right. Treasurer Helen, you have a report for the.
I do. So our opening balance was $3,482.47. I deposited $120 of dues from last month's meeting, so we have a balance of $3,602.47 as of the end of April. And we have about $60 in cash on hand. I did write John a check for the saw blade test and gave that to him this morning. And I tried to write Caryl a check for a speaker fee, and he just turned me down. So
You should take that.
I thought he should too, but he says swears he's not going to. So
Well, very nice. It's a nice thing to do. All right, so. Oh. And Helen and Roger got together and did an audit this morning.
Audit was good. Everything looks in order.
Okay. Thank you both for doing that. Raj, would you give the TLC toy report?
Well, we had 100 and, I read my own writing here. Yeah, 194 cars last month. And, the total for the year is 487. And the paintables, we turned in 383, and for a total for the year is 529. So we're doing pretty good. I've got a lot of patterns back there for Halloween. That'll be our next push. And then I got one for Thanksgiving. That'll come right after. So if people want to cut them this summer, that's fine. It's all on Baltic birch. And fairly simple patterns to do.
You got more wood?
I got more wood. So
Don't be bashful if you need wood. All right, Roger, Rockler update.
okay, Rocker is having a Woodworkers Guild show at the 3 stores. One is today, so I told him we couldn't do that, but on Saturday, the 18th is Minnetonka. They would like one saw there, and if people want to come to that, that's great. And for Burnsville, it'd be on the 11th. And they said 2 saws. So we can get some people down there to promote our club, that would be great. So those are
You want
the 2
people to
dates.
just contact you if they want to do that?
Yeah, they can. I won't be able to make it on the 18th.
Yeah.
I won't be able to make them.
So this is a guild day.
Yes,
We're more promoting our club, not cutting TLC toys, right? It's more
right.
about-
Mhm.
So if you brought a saw, you just kind of set it there and.
Well, you could cut out some Halloween stuff or whatever you'd want to do, you know.
Demo. We've done, yeah,
State fair giveaways.
Yeah, state fair giveaway,
we've done
Yeah,
this guild day.
just
several
some,
times.
Is there anybody interested in either one of those days? Could do
What are
that.
they again?
11th and 18th.
The 11th and
This
18th?
will be a week from now
yeah.
in Minnetonka, and then the 18th.
The other way around.
Oh,
I think you said 11th at Burnsville, right?
Yeah, the 18th is Maplewood.
no,
Oh, maybe.
I'm sorry,
Burnsville on the 11th, and then Maplewood on the 18th.
I believe so.
And Minnetonka's today's.
Yep,
I'll let you know.
All right,
Should be.
all right. Let Roger know so we can.
What are the hours, do they say?
yeah, it's from
9 to.
yeah, it's set up at 10 o'clock and it goes till 4 o'clock. So it'll be an all dayer.
All right. All right, Steve. The request to do that TLC toy article from Fox Chapel Publications, how did that work out?
Well, at the last meeting, Roger encouraged me to work on this article, so I did contact a number of you that have been involved in the club, and I was able to get a hold of their associate editor, Dorothea Bolinski, over at the Scroll Saw Crafts magazine, Woodworking Crafts. And they basically had a long list of questions they wanted answered. Their article is about scroll sawing groups that do work for charities. So really the focus of the article is on the charity work that is being done by these groups. And it's not only our group, it's from around the nation. So in about a week, I sent her the answers to her questions, which is about a page of information about our club and what we do. And I included the TLC toys, Girl Scouts, teaching at the different places like Minnesota Tool. And just mentioned all those things. And I hadn't heard back from her since I sent that in on April 17th. So I sent her an email day before yesterday, and she said, yes, it's gonna be in the magazine. It'll be in there, the coming magazine, which comes out at the end of June. That's the fall issue. So when you get your fall issue next month, you should see the article.
Great. Some pictures of that.
They didn't, I asked if they wanted pictures and they said they didn't mention that they needed any pictures. I think, you know, editorial wise, they have some pretty strict standards about what's in print in there. But I told her, you know, we had plenty of pictures, but they never.
Did you give them any idea of volume that we put out?
Yes, I had quite a long conversation with Jim Barthel. He actually told me that we make 22% of their products.
Really?
Yeah, he, over the last 5 years. So he counted out the number of items we've made and we do almost a quarter of the cutting for TLC toys, so. Yeah, I mentioned that in the article.
But Tiffany, you'd be able to put that article in the newsletter
When it comes out,
when
yeah.
it comes out.
I'm
Is
gonna
there
get
any, like issues legally with that? Cause I don't want to like. Put it out and then have them, because it's basically copy paste, right?
Well, it's pretty much our information.
Okay.
Well, why don't you contact them and get their
I
permission?
would think just ask, I think they'll probably be okay with it.
Oh, yeah,
Clear it with them.
And credit,
Credit them, yeah, credit them.
yeah.
Is actually
What do you
the
think?
information we give them. So what we're
So yeah, we
putting
could
in
even
here.
reformat it.
I have a feeling if you just reach out and say, hey, can we print this, reprint your article and people there, it's like, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I think they'd be happy.
We've done this before.
Yeah, all they did was ask him questions. Somebody could write an article from those questions and just write the article.
But the article is gonna include a lot of other groups, not just ours.
No, answering the questions that Steve answered. It just, it doesn't have to be about everybody's, does it?
No,
Just,
No,
We
you
could
could
just
take
write
the
an
Yeah,
parts
article,
of
like
it.
we could write an article for our club about the volunteer work we do.
okay,
right.
Sounds like a good idea.
The piece
of Dennis?
our.
Dennis?
Then you have common full art.
When we ask for the right to print your product, is that intended to, for example, to be posted on the website? Is it for members only? That may influence their reaction in some manner, so the question should be extended.
Yeah, well, when you get a hold of them, you could tell them, we just want to put it in the newsletter and. I think they'd be all right with that.
I'm sure they're gonna be okay.
Oh, I think so.
I'm gonna get a sneak peek at the article soon, but she said I had to promise not to show it to anybody.
Oh, sure.
Okay,
But I think, couldn't we too, can you just make a link to that article? In our newsletters?
I'll see the information that I get and then I'll look to display the information
Yeah.
this way.
all right, I think it'll work. All right, Katie, Girl Scout leaders class, any more news?
We don't have any more information, but John has been very busy angler, and he has made all of the things that we're giving to them.
Oh,
So we're all ready to go. We just need people and saws, right?
how many people in size do you have signed up?
None.
8 or so?
Did
you
put out a list?
I think I have a list of somewhere. I don't remember. It's mostly the people that came last year, and I did get a list last time, so I'll find it.
well, we should have enough people, people are pretty good volunteering for that.
I'll contact people.
I think Jeff Dad would do it, he's out
Yeah,
fishing. today.
he's definitely on the list.
Yeah,
He's on the list. My brain doesn't remember all the names.
yeah, well, that's all right.
But we could use more people.
We can always use more people. This, you know, if you don't know what I'm talking about, we train the Girl Scout leaders at a leader conference, and we have them cut out the Girl Scout logo, the trefoil that they have. It's their official logo thing. We had to use the official one. We couldn't change it at all. And John was the first one to make John, come on.
John Angler.
No, Carlson, but he was the first one to make one of these little, plaques, whatever you call them. Pendants. He made pendants, we make little plaques. Okay, if you would like to come to the training and you would be one-on-one with another, with the student. Or two-on-one, or one-on-two, meaning you just are there by the saw, helping them cut out their project. If you have any questions, you can ask either John or I, me.
This is up just east of Forest Lake on a really nice camp on the
Oh, it's
lake. It's
beautiful.
beautiful. Yeah, and they have just a wonderful place there. Usually they supply lunch.
It's called Camp Lacamaga.
It's back in the woods, but it's nice.
They don't supply lunch.
Yes, they do. They
They what?
used to.
What did you s-
They don't supply lunch.
No, they don't supply it, you have to buy it. Well, the
They
first time
gave
we
us
went,
lunch.
the first time we went, they did, but when COVID hit, they didn't do their
They
own
quit
stuff
doing
anymore,
that.
no. So they have food trucks.
Oh,
You can bring your. Any back.
You could bring your lunch, that's right.
yeah. And we've got a,
How long is
There's two classes, each of them are 3 hours long, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. So you go up, you can do one or two, but
about 9 to 3.
yeah, we close down around 3.
But we'll get there early about 8 and then set up. It's go up to Forest Lake on 35 and then to the east about, how far, 5 miles?
Yeah.
It's not far. Yeah. It's a really nice spot. And we've got we're under a roof now. And we're out of the bugs. We used to be down in this little building that had mosquitoes. Terrible, but this new
Right.
spot is good.
And I'm gonna test out a television about that size to see if we can use that camera this year.
Okay,
But otherwise we'll be back to the screen and projector.
yeah. And this is one of their most popular classes.
Oh, they love it. It's the first class to fill up and everybody says it's just because it's all hands-on. They get to sit down and make a project and they all go home with a finished project except for the painting. And we always bring extra things for them to cut out because some of them come and they're really good. They just finish it right away. So we give them other things to work on. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, the leaders are adults.
The leaders are,
Kids.
we're not teaching kids. No.
Yeah,
So let me know if you would like to come and we can use your help. Any other questions?
What's the date on?
it is August 17th, Saturday.
Thank you. Okay,
All right, Don Gore would like to say a few words about the Cruisers Card Club.
Yeah, so this is actually about the North Star Boy Scout and Girl Scout Museum. They're in North St. Paul. They're having an event for the Cruisers Custom Car Club. I don't know if you know, this car club has, Friday nights, they populate the town, they have their cars all up and down the main street, and everybody parties and that. So one of the things that they're doing is they want to make Pinewood Derby cars. And so they're having 2 sessions for them on a Friday night from 7 to 9. And June 28th, I can't make it, but I can make it the July 12th one. If somebody wants, I'm looking for somebody to fill in for me on the 28th. And I can bring my saw there, everything, supply the blades and everything. I'm sure these fellas, I mean, they've got shops or they've had custom work done to build these cars and everything. I'm sure they're pretty familiar with tools. And they're just taking a block of wood and coming up with some ideas to make a car out of it. And so they need somebody to help them cut it. You know, and actually, probably all you're gonna need to do is, these are adults, so all you're gonna need to do is change blades, or show them how to put a new blade in it. You know, get the blade to teeth to the front and the going down. And
Yeah,
and these guys will take off and do what they want. So I just need somebody to sit there and do, you know, change blades for them and stuff like that. I can supply the saw, I can put it there. But I've been invited to a college roommate's birthday out of town, and so I'd like to supply, I mean, I can supply that if you don't, unless you got it. You know, unless it's Roger and he wants to bring everything of his
Yeah.
own. But, and so I'm looking for somebody to take that up. You can-
where is this again?
It's in North St. Paul at the North Star Boy and Girl Scout Museum,
Right off there,
right off of
35 or 36.
North St. Paul is right off of Highway 36.
Yeah.
But the museum is right off, is on 7th Street. I don't have the address, but I'll get it to you if you want.
So we need somebody up in that area that could, you know, get over there and help these guys.
I can,
Have you been in contact with Mark who went last year with you?
I have not.
Um,
And that wasn't, last year, that was the brownies that were in there learning how to make it. So it was a whole different kind of, you had to cut everything for them. I'm not asking somebody to do that. I'm just asking for somebody to show these guys the saw and
I
say,
know, but he loves doing stuff with the scouts.
his wife grew up right up the street.
Ah.
So
Who's Mark?
He was he won,
that's Mark's,
he's won, I can't remember.
Gertner?
He won-
Gertner?
yeah, Mark Gertner.
Yeah,
He's won several ribbons.
Yeah, I understand.
He's won a membership to the club.
Yeah,
twice.
yeah, we'll contact him too, and then maybe he'd do that.
Yep. So my phone number is, I'll give you my phone number if you want to call me and arrange to do it. It's 651-226-4374.
All
Can I
right,
talk about the state fair while I'm up here?
sure, yep, let's do that too.
Okay. So, you know, we give away ribbons and I'm trying to get people to make entries to the state fair to compete in the creative activities building to try and win a ribbon, preferably one of ours. We give away 3, one for intarsia, one for fretwork, and one for overall artistry. We don't make the decision on who gets the ribbon. The state fair does, and but so I'm encouraging everybody to do that. I think the opening for the entries is this week, right?
May 5th, I think. We're on there.
Yeah.
It's usually like May 5th, May 6th, so that's when the entries open up. You can start registering. You can register until, I think, just before the fair opens, or a week before the fair
The
opens.
first week of August, it closes like maybe,
So we got- okay.
and then you have to deliver your thing to the fair.
Yeah, you deliver the week before the fair starts. It's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you have 3 days. There's certain times that you can come in. And I recommend if you're gonna do it, don't do it the first day. It's like Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You go Saturday, you wait in line for like 2 hours. If you go on Monday afternoons, like Monday afternoon, like 2 to 7, you can drop it out. Between 2 and 7, you can literally just walk up and drop it out. You don't have to wait. But everyone wants to be there the first day.
All right.
Go in there.
Good tip.
The other thing is you need to have your name engraved or something on the back of it and your phone number in case all markings get removed, that they can't find it, so that they can contact you and get the thing back to you. The other thing is if you supply something that like this, it's framed, you need to have a hanger on the back of it so that they can hang it up. Because they don't have all enough space to lay it all down, and they don't have all these kind of racks to put it on, so you need to supply a hanger on the back to hang it up.
Now with the state fair, you do not have to qualify in a county fair to display in the state fair.
No, anyone can enter as long as you're a resident.
All right,
In fact, you would really have a hard time getting your piece from a county fair to the state fair. I think that logistically, you know, if you had it entered in a county fair,
Yeah.
by the time you got it back, then you had to carry it over and put it into the state fair. Logistic wise, it would be pretty difficult.
Yeah, all in August.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's something. Now, the other thing is, I have talked to this Samantha at the state fair, and we definitely have the first Monday. So I'm counting on everybody who was there last year as my base. And I need, if you're not coming, I mean, if you want to be included in coming to the fair and representing us in the booth, you need to contact me. So, and get on the mailing list for this. So if anybody else has somebody else who's coming, a friend or something, I need to know. You do get free tickets. So that's the other thing, you need to contact me if you plan on doing it. I can get you a free ticket for that day. So. And
What's
my
your phone
email
number
is,
again, Don?
pardon?
What is your phone number again?
My phone number is 651-226-4374.
Okay, thank you.
The date of the state fair, do you have the date?
It's the first Monday. I don't recall if it's the 28th. Huh?
Monday is the 26th.
26th.
26?
Don, if you want to, why don't you take the attendance sheet, and there's a bunch of sheets there, pass one around with a state fair sign up,
Okay,
and then we can sign that. So anybody interested in that, sign up, and we could do the Girl Scout.
Well, we did that last time. You might want to do it again, because there's some people here.
Yeah, see if anybody, we'll just all sign up again, even if it doubles up. Okay, Troy, would you like to report on the tool library class?
So last Saturday, we did a class at the Minnesota Tool Library in Minneapolis. We had 5 instructors, including myself. So Steve was there, Roger, Katie, Don was there. Am I missing it? Is that everybody? Yeah, I think that's everybody. We had 6 students, and actually everybody was new. So that was interesting, but it went really well. The saw we donated, they told me that it's getting a lot of use. Is that a lot of people are using it? They're really happy with it. It's been getting a lot of use, and I didn't have to pry them. They just told me that. So and it looked like it'd been used, which is good. Yeah, and everybody had a really good. I think everyone had a really good time. We had a lot of people really engaged, and they were doing pretty good by the end there. So it was a lot of fun. Yeah, Katie.
Also, while we were there, a couple came in to look around and find out what the library was about. So I invited them into the class and told them all about North Star scrollers, and they were very interested in that. I expect to see them maybe. They live not too far from here, so they might visit us one day.
Yeah, I was running around trying to, work with everyone, so I didn't catch the key to that. But yeah, like I said, it was a lot of fun. It's interesting doing those classes. If you get a really diverse group, I mean, it's a different group of people that we don't normally see, and I think they really enjoyed it. So if we do it again at some point, think about coming and volunteering. It's a lot of fun.
All right. Yeah, it was a good time when we were there, and yeah, people appreciate it. There'll probably be a request for another one.
I'm sure.
All right, we'll send this around to the state fair. If you want to be at the state fair, and generally at state fair, you don't have to stay all day. You can stay like 4 hours. You can stay 8 hours. It's kind of up to you. If we bring a saw in, we have to take it back out again. And so to put it in, you have to be there ahead of time. And
so
so
only need one saw and
Troy's gonna do her.
Yep, I'll do it.
Okay,
Put your name on there if you want to do the Girl Scout thing too.
This list here for the state fair, put down how many tickets you need.
oh,
Like if your wife is going or something
Yeah.
like that.
all right, or we could do that later too.
Well, that should be on the list.
Well,
Well, Don will send out an
yeah, remember that
email.
I asked, they only wanted to supply tickets for people who were there.
Okay,
So I say, if you're gonna bring a spouse, fine, just have them come, or a child or somebody, have them come to answer questions, for another while.
Okay,
At least say that they were,
yeah,
they haven't questioned me on at all. No, they're happy. So,
Well, I think as long as you're not asking for 50 days, I think you're probably okay.
That might be the last year we work.
yeah.
John,
It's throwing us out. All right, any other old business that anybody has? Concerns them, any new business that we need to address? Club seems to be operating well, the treasury is as good as it's ever been. So I think we're happy with that. Well, let's do show and tell. Who would like to be first? Well, then I'll go first. We have two trains up here today. Kind of on the same pattern. One is Carl, is that one of yours? The other?
No, no.
Whose is this one?
Here.
Or Carol? Whose is this one? This is yours? No. We kind of both use that same pattern.
Yeah.
It's a really nice pattern of a train. This is the fourth of four that I made stacked once, and finally I've got the last one mounted here now. It must have taken me a year, but
You're a slow cutter.
a slow cut. Does anybody
How
have
long
a,
does that take
can
you
you
to
take a
cut?
picture with my camera?
A year.
You got a question back there.
The question?
Question is, how long approximately does that take you to cut?
A year, he said.
I know,
No, I don't, think- it would take me years.
it takes about 16 hours to cut that out, and so I stacked four of them together.
Oops, sorry.
So really, you have about 4 hours in each one. So when you get done, at least you can, make four of them and pass them around to whoever you want to give them to. So really, it's, how many did you make at one time? Did you just do the one? You're a tough soul.
You get one more, Mike. You were proud of me.
Hey, Tim, did you have a? Or Keith?
Nope.
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 I have a little girl next door and she's always comes over and she goes in the garage and she saw that I had those crosses that I was making on a pattern, on a board. Well, I want one of those, she says. I said, well, they're not done yet. Well, and she found another pattern there. Well, how about that? Well, it's not done yet. So finally I decided, I want to make her a little cross here just to kind of shut her up. And so I had a piece of this Paduke, and it was a real thin piece. I don't know what to do with it. And I thought, yeah, I want to make her a little cross. So it probably took an hour, hour and a half just to get it flat and everything else. And so it's kind of a cute little cross. So maybe now she'll let me alone for a little bit. No.
She one more.
what other patterns do you have?
Yeah, she's a good kid, but she's into everything. Okay, next victim.
My grandson is enthralled with his school bus. He's a first grader. And this is a Steve Good pattern. This came out a little while ago. And so I made this so he could give this to his bus driver.
Very nice, yeah.
And the other thing about William, he's very intense and he knows all the different makers of school buses.
Oh, my goodness.
Bluebird and whatever other. There's three particular. And he knows where the numbers go on the bus. He can tell from a distance what maker what make bus that is.
Oh, my goodness.
This one, another Steve Good pattern. And as soon as I saw this, my sister, when she was about 20 years old, she bought this 65 Mustang new, the fastback. And I got to drive that a couple of times.
You never told her what you
I'm
did.
8 years, no, 7 years younger than she is, so.
Where did you find the emblems?
Okay, so that's another story. So these emblems, were sitting on my workbench in the garage since about 1990.
65.
No, 1980, 95, 6, whatever. My son restored a 69 Mustang. And somehow he acquired these emblems, but he never put them on the car that he refurbished. And so when I saw the pattern, I thought, I wonder if I still have those emblems. And then I figured out how to work it into the project, so.
Yeah, those are perfect.
So that's what I did, and I thought to put it on the live edge, I didn't know what else to use it, so.
Oh, that's nice.
Thanks, Mark.
Sent him a picture of that, and I said, do you recognize those emblems? He says, no.
Good. Steve, good pattern. This just came out and I was very appropriately timed because I just became a grandfather on the 11th of April. Granddaughter, yeah, so that was really exciting. We didn't think we were gonna have grandkids, so when this came out, it was appropriate to make this for my my wife's son, or wife's back, oh yeah,
There.
thank you.
Your son's wife.
My son's wife. Thank you.
Is that it? The rest are yours. Oh, you want to do those later? Yeah. Okay. All right, it's kind of a short show and tell, so let's take a short break here now. And we'll come back after 10 minutes and then we'll do the program. And feel free to come up here and look through the book at the pictures and ask any questions you want.
If
Roger?
anybody has stuff to turn in, I'll be out there.
Or
wood.
Or wood. Meeting. Meeting.
I haven't done anything with that. I've been too busy cutting.
Let's resume the meeting.
Well, no, I just. Got all the things.
Meeting. Meeting.
What he's looking, he must want me up there.
Yeah, we want somebody who knows what they're talking about. Troy, would you like to introduce our speaker for the day?
All right, everybody. So if you haven't already talked to Caryl a little bit, he is our speaker for today. Mike Snyder recommended him. Sounds like Caryl done a presentation for the Rochester Wood Carvers at one point, and Mike knows Caryl. So he recommended, I reached out to Caryl, asked me if he'd be willing to come up here and talk about what he does. From a little bit that I've talked to Caryl and from what Mike has told me, Carol's been doing fretwork clocks for quite a long time, and it sounds like that he'd actually, this is right, Caryl, you actually put an addition on your house to house all your clocks.
Yeah.
I know you've got some information about some of the really large ones you've done. You brought a couple pieces here you're going to show, and I'll let Caryl do the rest of the talking.
You two guys should have a lot in common. You kind of do the same type of fretwork, kind of. And
A little bit, yeah.
you probably had a 3-hour phone call.
No, it wasn't quite that bad.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit. Well,
When they're so similar, they just do a mind meld and.
if it works, it works. Well, I was planning on about a 3-section presentation today, but after I talked to Troy, why, I'm gonna make it 4.
Okay.
He told me, well, I do similar things like yours, but not as big. Well, okay. If he does smaller than this, I want to see it. I don't care if you're making small stuff or a 9-foot clock, as long as you enjoy it, that's what counts. So I figured I had to get that put in there. Other than that, I've got a video that I did for public broadcasting station. You're gonna watch that. It's about 5 or 6 minutes. And then there's a slide presentation of some of the bigger stuff. And I think some of the smaller is on there. Okay. And the third thing, I'm gonna start, I'm not going back right now to start at the beginning, because I think a lot of that's on the video. I'm gonna go back 33 months ago. That's when up until then, relatives knew I did this stuff. The neighbors, few visitors that the neighbors brought over, and ones in the Woodcarvers Club. Then I subscribed to a local newspaper, Pine Island News Record. Well, it's a combination of all the small cities around there. They all one. Publisher is in Zumbrota with the office. It was about come due. I'm going down Main Street in Zumbrota. I'm gonna stop and pay it. Don't have to mail it to him. Publisher was behind the desk. He took my money and we started talking. All of a sudden he says, "Do you have any hobbies?" Well, I said, "I do fretwork." From the expression on his face, I could see that he didn't have a clue what it was. I said, "Well, I carry 6 or 7 pictures in the pickup of what I do. Would you like to see them?" "Oh, yeah." So I went out, I got them. He looks at the first one. "Oh, that's really nice." He hands it to one of his employees that had come in at the time. She was looking at it. He's going through one by one and making comments. Well, I keep the big one on the last one they're going to see. He's sitting there looking at that picture. And he's looking at, not saying a word. It must have been close to a minute where he didn't say anything. Without even looking up, he says, "Would you be willing to do an interview?" Well, I've never done anything like that before, but it's a local paper. What's the big deal? Yeah. So about 4 days later, I get a phone call. I answered. The woman says, "Don't hang up. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm from the newspaper." Okay. She didn't want me hanging up on her, so we set up a time for her to come out. She came out, she came in the house, and I says, "Just how much did he tell you about what you were going to be looking at?" "All he said is you do something with wood." Okay, so we were in the dining room. We had to go through the living room into the room I built on. And we got there and, "Oh, I know about this. I was to Billy Clark's a couple years ago." So she did the interview and took a lot of pictures and she left. A couple of days later, she called up. "If you've got a few minutes, I got some more questions." Okay. So I answered that. Went on about probably a week. Then the office called. "We got some more questions." So, okay. Then the following week, the article came out. It wasn't in the paper, it was front page, 2/3 of the page. So I put in there that if anybody wanted to see it, why, just give me a call. We'll set up a time to come and look at it. Phone number's in there. Well, the phone started ringing. So this woman's group came to visit. Another woman's group from Kenyon. One was from Mazeppa, one was from Kenyon. Well, guess what? Rochester paper saw it. So 2 weeks after it was out, why, they called wanting an interview. Well, okay, I did one. I survived it. Let's do the second. That one, the headline on that one was, what was it? Quiet relaxation. Or something to that point. Anyway, it was relaxation. And that was all. Well, okay, then I went and did the presentation for the Rochester Woodcarvers Club. And in the meantime, I had a group of people from Spring Valley called up, wanted to know if they could come out and see it. And there was a group from Rochester. Well, all of a sudden, my 15 minutes of fame was over, which was okay. Well, about three months later, I get this phone call from a television producer. Okay. So he wants to do a segment for the public broadcasting station down in Austin. They've got a program called Off 90, where they feature all painters, welders, pottery, ceramics. This is the first time I've seen any woodworking on there, but so I told the guy I had to think about it. And do I want to be on television? So finally I said, yeah, we can do it. But so then the guy that runs the camera and the producer, why he came out, they both came out and looked, well, we're going to do some of it here in the house. We're going to go up in your barn where you store the lumber, and we're going to do some of it in there. We're going to do some in your shop. I says, okay, but you're going to have to give me a month so I can get the shop cleaned up. I don't want anybody in there a little bit cluttered.
Yeah.
So I cleaned everything up, and they came, called them, and they set up a time. We came out. We did the interview. 2.5 hours.
Wow.
To get 5 or 6 minute segment. You're gonna see me walking from the barn up to the shop. You're gonna see me going up there once. I actually went up there 4 times that day.
They filmed them all.
Yeah, they filmed all 4, but
Yeah.
oh, we don't know if we want this one. We don't know if we want that one. That's guys, I'm not the youngest guy in the world anymore. It's a ways to walk up that hill. So part of it was filmed with a drone. So, but that's gonna cover, like I say, I was talking, you don't hear them and they edited out everything they said, but I was just answering the questions and going from there. So you're gonna see part of the house that way. But that was it.
Carol, I know most people probably don't see off 90 because it is broadcast.
Yeah, it's not up here, but it's similar to what, I know the release I signed, well, it was for nationwide, so I don't know if they put it out to other stations. But it's a program that's similar to what Channel 5 had with On the Road with Jason Davis. That was, it's the same premise.
Now, they also had done a segment maybe about 5-6 years ago on Nick Polachuk. He was in the club here for a while, and they did a segment on him with his carving eggshells. That one won them an Emmy for that segment. So these folks are very good at what they do.
Yeah. And I know, I'm assuming it's been on 5 times. The first time I didn't know, they didn't even notify me when they were going to broadcast. That's how wonderful that was. But I had neighbor woman, well, Mike knows her, Laverne Shettle. She called me that night. You were on television tonight. I was. Okay. So then called the station, or yeah, I guess my girlfriend emailed the station if they were going to rebroadcast it. Well, yeah, this was on Thursday night. They were going to do it again on Friday or Saturday at 5 o'clock. Okay, I get to see it. But then it's been on after that because I had a woman call me up. She says, I saw you on television last night. And this was, well, the first broadcast was in June. This was in November. She saw me last night in November. So, and she says, my husband saw it a few weeks ago. And he said, I really missed out on something. And so last night when it came on, he hollered at me, you got to get in here. So, okay, she saw it. She was collecting donations for a benefit auction. Because the Eagles Club down at Rochester does a telethon every January, and all the surrounding area towns hold auctions. They hold races, dinners, bowling tournaments, whatever, to raise money for it. So she wanted to know if I would be willing to donate something. Well, I had planned on it because at some point in time, because people would look at my house and it's filling up in here. Are you gonna quit when it's full? And I says, no, I'm gonna start donating to different charities so I can keep going. So I thought, well, I'll just start a little earlier than I planned. So I says, okay, this was mid to late November. I says, how soon do you need it? Well, the first part of December. Okay. So I had this 26-inch clock that was at least 3/4 cut out. I thought, I can finish that before that. So, okay, I'll give them that. So I didn't have to deliver it or anything. They came out to pick it up. So I called them when it was done. They came out. They came in the door. I had it sitting on the dining room table. I says, there's what you're getting. Are you sure that's what you want us to have? Well, that's what I made for you. So take it or leave it. So then they had to see all the rest of the stuff in person, so which was fine. They took it. Found out later it brought $300 and some. She said there were 2 women that were fighting over it. So, okay. And then it was a little while longer. Why, I heard from another woman. Well, I saw you on television a couple days ago. Well, this was in February or March, I think so. Okay, they're still running it. But that was that. And then with a newspaper article, the Rochester paper, when they got done running it, they sent it up to Duluth and also to Grand Forks, North Dakota. Because I was getting emails from people up there. I saw you in the newspaper. Okay. I know. Wow. And like I say, the television segment, the release form I signed was that they could release it nationwide. So if you saw it on Channel 2, it might have been come from that way. It had to be anyway. So
They also put them all their episodes on YouTube.
yeah, they're on YouTube. And I heard the other day that it's supposed to be on Facebook. I have no idea. I don't have Facebook, so I can't tell you, but that's what I was told. It was also on there someplace. So, and I can't remember what Tom told me one day when I talked to him, how many times it had been viewed, but it was several hundred. And that was 2 years ago. So that was pretty much my 30 minutes of fame. And yeah. Then I get the invitation here, so well, I can't turn it down. Of course, Mike, I don't know about him. I got an email from him one day at headline. Famous Caryl Closner. Right. That was shortly after he had COVID, and I said it affected his brain.
It was probably something like, help make Caryl famous.
No, it's still on the, I've still got it.
Okay.
I can prove it to you. It was famous Caryl Closner.
Well,
I sent you a few.
I think you guys should get together and have a puzzle and clock museum in Rochester. Huh? At some point.
Yeah.
Let's get to the video.
Yeah.
He wants to get out of the spotlight.
To see a museum. All right.
Yeah, if you want to play, I don't know if you're gonna have the video first or the slides.
Well, what you want?
Whatever works for you.
Video for.
Go with the video first if you got it.
Share here. Grab a new share here.
Just click on the media player.
Optimize for, do the optimize.
I don't think that's my.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
You didn't turn on the sound.
No, I coming through there.
Oh, it's
so
just a
I got it. Yeah.
advertising.
Just let it run. It
Yeah.
only takes 5 seconds for this. Needed the loop.
Is there sound to this?
Yeah, they're not getting sound unless you do the Zoom optimize. Tell her we're working on it.
Oh, I don't know why. Because I've got.
The left bottom.
Oh.
Do sound and some, yes. I think that might, I don't know.
Back up just a little bit.
Well, let's first see if.
I think it was 10 or 11 years old. Grandparents, my mother and I went to.
No, it's not.
And yes, television makes you look 10 years older.
Don't know why.
We had the sound, you can just keep going.
Oh, you got it. Can you hear it? Then let me-
Yep.
Okay, let me.
Funding for Off 90 is provided in part by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.
Caryl Closner of Orinoco has been a farmer all his life. Now he does woodwork. He'll introduce us to a device called a scroll saw. Let's take a look.
A farmer always considers himself a farmer. Well, I've been a farmer my entire life, and I'm 74 now, so born on a farm and still here. When I think it was 10 or 11 years old, grandparents, my mother and I went to Billy Clock's down in Spillville, Iowa. And that was two brothers that did all this carving and scroll saw work. And I saw what they did, and I guess I was hooked at that point. The main thing you want with a scroll saw is to get something as little vibration as possible. Takes quite a bit to tip the nickel over. Work with a scroll saw, that's the main thing, because fretwork, most people don't have any idea what that is. Hopefully I have my pictures handy, because trying to describe it is a little difficult sometimes. Real fretwork, I started that about maybe 20 years ago. On a small scale, and then when I quit milking cows, and then I didn't have them to take care of, so I had a lot more free time. And about 12 years ago, then it took off into the bigger stuff. I don't like using all the same wood, get a little variety. I don't put any paint on anything, everything is just natural color. The big clock back here, there's 8 different types of wood on there that gives you your different coloring. We're out in the country. I don't have somebody just, a house just 10 feet from me or 20 feet from me. I can get out, I can listen to the birds sing in the morning, watch the deer going up the driveway, all kinds of different things. The log cabin there, I gave it to my girlfriend. It's just a log cabin. She lives in a log cabin in the woods, so she saw it, she wanted it for Christmas, and so I made it. I mean, I like just the fact that you can turn just a simple piece of wood into something that a lot of people can't do or don't want to do. It's a variable speed saw, so you can change your speed to whatever you work for you. When I'm doing this woodworking, I feel a sense of accomplishment. To me, it's relaxing. You have to concentrate on it, and you just kind of let the rest of the world go by. Sometimes I'm at the scroll saw for 5 minutes. You can't follow the line, you have blades break, and you just get up and walk away, and I've had other nights, so I start out at 7 o'clock and I've gone as late as 1:30 in the morning already, so every day is different. You want something as straight as possible so that it doesn't, the points don't break off, or you don't want any knots in it. I start right with the logs and cut it into boards and dry them, and then once you get ready to make something, why then you take the boards and you plane them to the thickness you need and cut them for the size pieces you need, and then you start putting your design in. When I'm cutting a log into boards, why, it's amazing what you can find for grain in one log that you won't have in the next one, and different coloring from one log to the next, even whether it's oak or walnut or cherry, you're still getting something different. My favorite kind of wood would be probably either cherry or walnut. The walnut cuts real easy, got a nice finish to it when you're cut. The hardest thing about it is staying on the lines, especially if you're got something with a straight line that you're trying to cut. And the end clock up here is called the Chimes of Normandy. That's the name of that clock. That one's all cherry. Well, this is the big one. The designer called it the Tower of Time. It's 4 foot wide, 9.5 foot tall. There's 8 different varieties of lumber in it. Doors around this section all open, but if I had to guess, why, I know it's over 1,000 hours that I've invested in it. And no, I never thought halfway through that I was going to quit. So when I got that far, it was finish it. Yeah, I've had people that have seen it 8 or 10 times, and they'll come in here and they'll look at it. Was this here the last time I saw it? Well, it was here the first time you saw it. It hasn't changed. I'm hoping that some museum would want to take it and put it on display. I've had several people say it should be in a museum for more people could see it. I couldn't say that I have anything that's I would say is favorite, because everything is a little bit different and a little different process in doing it, and different sizes, and some is more complex than others. It's just a nice accomplishment when everything is done.
There's where I'm walking up the hill for the first time. Well, that was 2 hours of filming and setting up and stuff to get that short of time.
Yeah. These folks are out of Austin?
The television crew is in Rochester. The station is in Austin. And yes, I have my own sawmill. I've got all my own lumber. Yeah, it all comes from within 7 to 10 mile radius of the farm. Yeah. So it's all local.
People call you and say, hey, I got a log, and
Yep, they'll call up. I had a tree blow down in the storm yesterday.
you like it.
Yeah. Well, they don't ask if I'd like it. They just say, I've taken the limbs off of it. If you want it, come. You cut it in the lengths you want and haul it away, and it's yours. So I get a lot of it that way. I've had others that have brought out several logs, and they tell me, I only want 4. I pick out the 4 best logs. That's all I want out of it. If you want the rest of it, it's yours. So yeah. So I accumulate some that way.
Yeah.
I had one guy, he brought in a big load of walnut logs. He didn't think it was that big, but I did. So I cut it all for him. He came out to pick it up a couple weeks later when I had it done. I said, there's your lumber. Well, it can't be all mine. I didn't bring that much. Yeah, that's yours. Well, what am I supposed to do with it all? Not my problem. So he started loading his trailer. He got so much on it, and he says, that's it. The rest is yours. Okay. And he insisted on paying me for cutting it besides. So can't complain there.
No.
So, but before I got my sawmill, I had another guy come in to saw for it. Well, he wouldn't saw anything less than 1 inch thick. Well, I use mostly 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch lumber. Am I going to plane this walnut and cherry all down to that thickness? So no. I started looking for a sawmill, found one on an auction south of me, went down, bought it. So now I saw anywhere from 3/8 of an inch thick to 4 or 5 inch thick. Yeah, depending on what what everybody wants or what I might want or something. So that saved me a lot of waste. I do use a little bit of plywood on, mainly on that clock for the floors and the backing on the bottom case.
Now, when you dry that thinner wood, will it stay flat for you?
Well, I sticker it every 12 inches. And then you got layer after layer after layer, usually go up 4 foot high.
The weight keeps it.
The weight keeps it down, and then I put 4x8s on top of it to hold it down. Most of the time it stays. Once in a while you get a piece that won't. Most of it does. I just air dry it. I've had people wanting kiln dried. So I finally bought the equipment for a kiln, got a shed put up. Haven't had anybody want anything dried since then. Ever since, because I want it air dried. I don't think there's as much stress because you're not heating it to 125 degrees, and because according to the company, you take green oak is 70% moisture when you start. You dry that down to 6% in 28 days. No, I want just a slow 12-month drying process. I've heard you don't want to kiln dry walnut from green on down because it'll turn gray. I don't know, I haven't dried any so that way. That's the way that went. So
So just tell me when you want to go to the next page.
you go to the pictures anytime. That's the power of time. Like I said, it's actually 49 inches wide, 32 inches deep. There's an 1/8 of an inch clearance to go through my doors. 9.5 foot tall, is built in 3 sections. So it can be moved out at some point.
Where did you get the pattern?
The pattern came from Wilkins Woodworking down in Missouri, because I don't design anything. I buy patterns from all over. Yeah. And this one came from Wilkins. I talked to Dan probably I was a year before COVID hit. I saw him at a show down in Dubuque, Iowa. And as far as he knew at that time, there were only 5 of them in existence. And one of them was in Puerto Rico before that big hurricane. So there may have only been 4. But I told him he had to design something else big because I had that done now. He just looks at me and says, I don't think so. That's just close-ups on it.
How did you get the stained glass windows with the coloring?
I bought some plastic that was actual stained glass like that, and I just put that on the inside. It's just plexiglass. There's lights in all of that. There's 6 music boxes in there with a different tune in each door. The bottom doors open up for storage. I think each level I've got a different colored light in it.
Most of the wood yours that you cut?
Yeah. Those flowers there, that's the only thing that I bought. It's yellow heart, purple heart, but otherwise it's oak was the main one, walnut, cherry, aspen, some red elm. Like I say, that all came within a few miles. That one there is just a mini grandfather clock. It's 26 inches high. That was another one of Wilkins' designs. That one there's another Wilkins. It's how he named them, I don't know, but it's the mustard and grape jelly clock. Looks more like a pagoda to me where it tapers up.
It's about how tall?
That one is about 3 feet or a little over. That's one of the smaller ones. There is, that's the Montana Ridge. That's another Wilkins. That one's about 4.5 to 5 feet. You'll notice I like Wilkins patterns. That one's all made out of oak and walnut, some walnut trim and overlay, and there's some aspen over the top of the walnuts yet.
Whose clock mechanism do you use?
But
Whose clock mechanism do you use?
I just buy battery operated mechanisms. I get them from either Wildwood. I got some from Meisel up here when they were in business yet. And the big 9-inch dials, I get them from Bearwood. That's the only place I can find them. The pendulums are on there. That big one, why that had the new mechanism in there, would chime, play music every 15 minutes. And then on the hour, it would chime 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Until the battery went dead and I put a new battery in it and it hadn't made a sound since. So. I don't know what happened to it, but. Yeah, that one's gotta be. Tell you what you want this. That looks like the grandfather clock. Yeah, that's a grandfather clock in the corner. That one's 6 foot tall. That's a Wildwood design pattern. I made the case art out of some poor plywood, and I put 1/8-inch maple plywood over the top of that and cherry over the top of that to get definition to it. Yeah. Lots of different designs on there. He didn't stick to any one theme all the way up. Whatever. Yeah. I followed what he had, so. That's a parlor cabinet, another Wildwood design. That one I changed. The original plan was it was going to be 5 foot tall. Well, I can't see in the mirror on the top. So I took patterns from two of those other sections, and I made a third section and put it in, so now I can look right in the mirror. 2 doors open, drawers open. There's 3 doors that open and close. Right now it's got cows and pigs sitting on the shelves, so. That's all walnut except for the white aspen overlays. That one is Country Cottage clock. That's by Dirk Bullman. That one is, everything is 3/4 inch thick cherry. That one's heavy. That's about 7 foot tall, that one was. Get into some of the smaller stuff there. Proud to be a woodworker. That's a Sue May pattern, same as these 2 up here. Proud to be a veteran. That's just a desk set, a paper clip there for papers and pen. Used to give them to relatives for Christmas. There's one of the trains. I think it's either this. Yeah, it might be this one. Otherwise, it's the one that matches it. There's a mandala, there's 7 layers on that. That's a combination of oak and walnut alternated. There's the doorway going into that room. So that's just a close-up of all the scroll work on there. 4 different designs that go, every 4th one is the same one up and around. That one I did stack cut. I cut 2 at a time on that. Okay. That's it. That's it? Yep. Okay. Well, that room was 12 foot by 20 foot. And on the one wall, there's a cabinet that's all glass panels on it from floor to ceiling. 12 foot high and 20 foot long. There's 12 different panels in there. Cause I wanted something where I wasn't going to be, having to dust everything.
Yeah.
So, like I say, I got farm picture up here yet. This one's gonna be going to, well, not this one, a duplicate of this one will be going to one of the auctions next winter.
You got close to the camera? To the camera.
Oh.
There.
Once a farmer, always a farmer.
That's right.
When I talked to you down in Rochester at the wood carving shows, you told me that you use an RBI Hawk, but you had the wall.
Well, I use both. I get tired of one, I go to the other one. You're gonna have a little variety.
Okay.
This was the last one that I made. There is a goose in there. I had that at the show in Rochester in March, and some people are standing at it and staring and staring, and well, I said, there's a goose in there. There is. Yeah, there is, but guys were telling me that they were 20 feet back, then they could see it from back there, but up close, why?
Going right in.
Yeah. That's probably the hardest thing I've ever cut. It's the only thing I thought about quitting.
No.
There, I don't know what there is about that pattern, but I got halfway done and it's, you know, I just gotta force myself to do the rest, and it just.
Do you ever use a spiral blade?
I've tried them. I forgot to bring them up this morning or I was gonna give away whatever I got. And I've heard several people here, well, I don't want them. Okay.
People love them, but
Some people love them and it's either you love them or you hate them. I've tried 2 different brands and came out the same problem with both of them. And
what's your favorite blade
the Flying Dutchman,
and size?
it's a number 5 reverse tooth. Ultra reverse is called number 5. Have been going, been doing some smaller stuff. And I've been using a number 3, I got it from, out in Washington, the Berry Basket. It was their brand. I've been using those number 3s. I've got them on hand and I've been using them in smaller cuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I go for wide variety. Did the log cabin. My girlfriend lives in a log house in the middle of the woods. She saw it in the magazine. I think it was in, well, it was in Scroll Saw Woodward. And she says, well, I'd like that for Christmas. Well, at the time I needed new glasses. I'm actually blind in the right eye anyway, and in the left eye, why the glasses, it was just a small area that I could see through because coating was letting loose. Well, I got it cut. Well, she got it. And I got the trains here because I had 2 different ones of them. My former brother-in-law, hold that. He lives in Denver. He's in a big time model railroad and steam engines. So I sent him one of those one day. A few days later, I got a call from him. How did you do that? I'll be nice. I won't use his exact language, but how did you do something like this? I told him, I said, I thought you could use it to collect dust out there. He says, I'm building a cabinet to put it in. It's gonna be behind glass. It's not gonna collect dust.
Yeah.
So he got that. And then there's some other photos here in the book of smaller items that I've made. My girlfriend, we've been running around for 10 years. She gets real roses every year for Valentine's Day. She also gets wooden ones. So she gets. She got that clock 1 year for Valentine's Day. That's Wilkins design. It's called Moonlight Kiss. Got the rose on the bottom and all the hearts and the cupids up at the top. I really got her that year because we were going down to supper club to eat that night. And I took it down there in the afternoon. Then when I went to pick her up, I just took a small box, happened to be empty. She wanted to open it before we went to eat. No, we'll do that when we come back. Yeah, so then we got done eating, the waiter came around, he's picking up the dishes, and he says, "Are you ready?" And I says, "Yep." She says, "Ready for what?" "Oh, I don't know, we can see." So then he comes out with his box, it's about that square. Lays it on the table in front of her. She didn't know if she wanted to open it or not. I says, "Oh, go ahead and open it, it's not gonna do a sell." Well, she opened it. Put the lid back down. I says, "Might as well take it out. I might break something." So I finally took it out and set it on the table. All the help there, they had to come and check it out. Because when I took it down there, they wanted to know if I wanted it refrigerated.
No.
No.
Do that.
I think they were figuring it was roses, but
Yeah. Cake or something.
yeah, so, no. So, I mean, I could see there were people at the other tables where they were practically falling off their chairs. They wouldn't come over, but they were, and I'm just thinking, the guys are thinking, boy, did he have to show us up, you know? And the woman probably thinking, and all I got was dinner. So, anyway, she got that. Then she gets some of these smaller ones. It's a different one every year. More of them. The single rose, that's made out of redwood. Everything else is made out of cherry. And I made a woman called me one day and she wanted to know if I could make some furniture for these 18-inch American dolls. So she wanted a wardrobe and a dresser, and I said, "You get me some pictures and measurements and I'll go to it." Doors on that side over there are bifold and this one's bifold, not single.
So how big are those?
Well, they're about,
Oh, they're that big.
yeah, they're about that because the dolls are 18-inch.
Oh.
And these 4-drawer on the dresser and they all open and close. And then there's a 4-story dollhouse here. All the steps going up each level. Railings all the way around. All the individual shingles on the roof. The flooring pieces are all 3/8-inch wide strips. 1/8 of an inch thick and put in there 1 strip at a time. Got all the railings here. Table up there and the serving cart up on the patio there. That umbrella is 6 pieces of wood put together.
Did you have patterns for that, or did you just come up with that?
No, I bought the patterns for that.
Okay.
I don't design anything. I did change it a little bit on the doll furniture there. Because I was looking at them and it seemed to me they were awful. They weren't deep enough to tip easy. So I went ahead and I made them about 4 inches deeper. And when I called the woman that they were done, I says, "I did change things a little bit." I told her I made them a little deeper. Well, she says, "I thought the same thing, that they were going to be too wobbly." But she says, "I wasn't going to tell you how to do it." Yeah.
What kind of finish do you use on your?
Just a clear polyurethane. The only thing I said on there, I didn't use any paint. I do on the butterflies or compound cut flowers, like paint the flowers and the stems. With those, I'm using basswood to cut out of it.
So you spray that? Spray
Yep, everything's sprayed. The bigger stuff, I hired another guy to spray them because he had 40 years experience spraying stuff, and if I mess up and get a run or a drip on something like this, that I can throw away and start over easy enough. That big clock, no, I'm not going to start over. So he did a real good job on that. He's now almost 90, so he was still spraying a couple of years ago, so what we're doing. So
Then you have, but
Dennis?
Back to that, steam engine, the walnut one.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how many hours you might have spent just in the scrolling?
no idea. I always tell people when they ask how long it takes you, from the time I start till it's done, that's how long. The big plaque was 27 months. Start to finish, but I did other small items in between, and there was one level up there, there's 46 brackets, all the same design. Well, I made about 5 of them, and it's, okay, it's time for a different design here for a little while. Go to change over and then go back, make another 3, 4, and then change over the back. People ask me, well, are you crazy when you got done with that plaque? I says, no, I was crazy when I started it, but I'm perfectly good now.
Back to the log cabin. How thick is that wood? What kind of wood is that?
That's oak. It's 1/4 inch thick. That's, I think that was designed by Charles Hand. He did that one, and I'm sure he did this one, and he also did the owls that I've got in here.
So that's out of your wood that you cut?
Yep, that's out of stuff that I cut.
Well, a piece that big, it doesn't work.
Yep.
Is that a glue up or is that a single piece?
What?
Is it a glue up or is it a single piece?
Nope, single piece.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a wide piece of wood.
Yeah.
I've got boards out there that are 18 inches wide. I've cut some boards that were 24 inches wide. That's as wide as my saw will go, so that's, I had to quit. I've cut logs as big as 43 inch diameter. Company says it'll handle a 32 inch. Well, it will cut a 43. But to get the head down through, you have to get up on top of the chainsaw and cut a chunk out, and then you go down and then you turn it a little bit, and then you have to cut another chunk out, and cut it down and turn it. It's more work than it's worth, but when you're getting boards that are 24 inches wide and perfectly clear wide, it's worth the effort.
How do you buy a pattern? Got all the small cuts in it.
I take and just put masking tape on there, glue masking tape, then glue the pattern to it. Use glue sticks to put it on. I found it, originally I tried putting glue on the pattern and put the pattern right on there. Well, you don't get quite enough glue on, well, then it's letting loose. If you get too much on, then you're there with a hair dryer and trying to peel it off and scrape it. Tape works real good. This one, I put masking tape on the back of before I cut these real thin cuts here, because they're going diagonal on the grain. So they're going to be a little weak. So I put the masking tape on the back, and then when I was peeling the tape off the front, getting the pattern off, I still had something on the back to hold it, and I had just a thin strip to pull off. Because I didn't want to, those were my last 2 cuts. This one here and this one in there. Yeah. I didn't want to have to handle that, but that. I guess that pretty much covered this.
Thank you so much, Carol.
I would like to thank you for the invitation.
Oh, we appreciate it.
I want to thank Mike for his help, getting the pulling up the video and getting the slides. Bruce Borkshot's another member of the club. He took all the pictures there. Of course, I can't forget the camera crew, so it.
Yeah. Very good. Well,
Yep.
thank you.
I thank you.
Coming up.
Yep.
I'd ask you one question. When did you ever have time to farm making all this?
No.
Did you wait for rainy days to?
Pretty much. Probably, I've asked the question, how did I have time to farm? Because I'm retired and I still don't have any time. And I milked cows for 50 of those years, and
Yeah. Wow.
that's why the hearing isn't as good as it is, because Cows, if you were a little late milking or a little late with a feed, they let you know about it.
Yeah. They'll come up and
Oh,
they
they'll,
bump you and
well, no, they bellow more,
make more noise.
make more noise.
Okay.
Of course, if you're late milking, well, you hear it when you walk in the barn, just finish that milking pump starts. And they'll peep out because they know it's coming.
Yeah. Wow.
So, okay.
Well, thank you so much. Now, if you want.
Yeah, I've got
anybody
cards
wants
here.
a card,
Everybody wants a
you want
card?
to Get one.
I got more of them if we run out of those.
Carol?
Anybody wants to see it in person? Yeah, name, address, phone numbers on there. Give me a call. I'm gonna let Mike see it today.
He's never seen it.
No, he's never seen it.
Live.
There's only 3 people in the Wood Carvers Club that have actually seen it in person.
Yeah. Boy, there's one.
You don't have to put it up there. You can just give it off.
Well, you'll have visitors after this, so.
Okay.
Yeah. If I get down that way, I'm coming, so.
Yep.
All right. Anybody else, a card?
If I don't
Here,
answer
Carl,
the
take
phone,
the-
leave a message, because I don't sit there waiting for the phone to ring.
Yeah. All right.
And I don't have a cell phone, so I can't carry it outside.
All right. Well, very good. Any questions?
I have a joking question. If I become your girlfriend, will you make me a?
You gotta fight it with her, get that.
They talk that over.
I've given out stuff like this, well, not quite this fancy, but stuff like this for Christmas gifts to people. And I've had people say, how do I get on your Christmas list? But yeah, she's gotten that one. She's gotten the owls there. And then, like I say, every Valentine's Day, she gets another plaque with a. But the farm picture and these 2 are gonna be on the auction in January down at Lyle. Because Lyle is farm country, so 2 farm ones, and it's being held at the Legion Club, so give them the veteran one to put on the auction.
Hey, Carol, so I see on your cards that you sell lumber too, so you sell lumber as well?
I sell lumber if somebody wants it. I've got about 50,000 board feet stored on there.
We have like old walnut, all the domestic species.
There's red elm, white elm, butternut, white cedar, red cedar, ash, maple, aspen, pine.
We get it all.
I think I'm getting pretty much through.
Wow.
But yeah, you saw in the barn there on the.
Yeah, it looked like it.
There was, that's only a portion of it. I've got lumber in 4 different buildings, so.
Oh, man.
And I guarantee you that whatever you want, I'm not gonna have. Cause I got everything from 1/2 inch thick. This is all rough sawn, 1/2 inch, well, it's blade cut out of it, so it's about 7/16.
Yeah.
All the way up to 2 1/4 inch. And I've got some basswood that cut at 4 inch for carving. But I can pretty much guarantee you, you're gonna call and you're gonna want a 3 inch thick, by certain oak.
Yeah. I don't have that. That's the way it always goes.
That's the way it is.
Yeah.
You can't judge what anybody's gonna need or want, or
Yeah.
I just tell them, here's what I've got. If it works for you, fine. If it doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to downsize and get rid of some. I'm still doing some custom sawing. Takes care of it.
Well, very good. Well, thank you. Well, if there's nothing else, then I need a motion to adjourn the meeting. So move.
I got wood out there yet, so
Come get wood.
I'm gonna get some
Second.
patterns back here too.
All right, all in favor?
All right.
All right, meeting adjourned. Grab some patterns.
Get rid of wood. I put some off the wood.
Well, let's go get some wood.
Now we know where to go.
We know where to get some walnuts.
Big white.
There you go.
Okay,
Yeah. Well, if Colleen and I ever go down to Rochester, go down. Yes. Colleen and I ever go down there, we're gonna stop in. Oh, yeah. Check it out. Probably, I think he said about 5, 6 miles north of town. And then he's out about another 4 or 5 miles east.